welcome to QuaranTEA Break with Jen, the show where we talk about mental health and we call friends and family all over the country and see how they're doing in this time of quarantine and coronavirus. So today I have a special guest who's in New York City. Her name is Cassandra Burke, and I'm going to let her tell you what she does for a living, what she did do, and now what she does do. She's a pretty cool gal, and she is originally from Arizona, so we're going to give her a call today. April was Poetry Month, so I was reading a poem every episode, but now I'm going to read you a quote since April is over and it's May. So I'm going to read you a quote from James Joyce today. One by one, they were all becoming shades. Better pass boldly into that other world in the full glory of some passion than fade and wither dismally with age. So that's little James Joyce. My recommendation for today is something that I did yesterday, which was sit down and write some letters to people. The lost art of letter writing, folks. It's really actually very calming and a good way to get some thoughts down and connect with people through snail mail. And so I encourage you to go do that. Connect with somebody. And if you're not a big letter writer, you can get a postcard or just jot down a few thoughts in a pretty card and send it off. It feels good. It's a little natural booster. So let's go ahead and give Cassandra a call using WhatsApp and see how she's doing and what tea she is drinking today. Hello, Cassandra. How are you?
You know, life is going.
Good. I'm going to turn the camera so that the viewers can see you, but you won't see me anymore. This is Cassandra, everyone.
Should I maybe move over here where there's more light?
Yeah. Oh, that's much better. We can see you much better there. Yeah. So what tea are you drinking today?
I am drinking a green tea that I found in the cupboard.
Nice. Very nice. Well, I'm drinking organic pomegranate white tea. It's very good from Trader Joe's.
Is it hot or cold?
It is hot. It is fruity and very light. It's a little bit tart, but I'm enjoying it because it's kind of a warm day here. So, yeah, I recommend. So how's life in New York City right now?
Whew. I think that we're all in a place of this really bizarre in-between where we just have to wait to see what happens, but it's kind of like we're in a mourning period, because obviously whenever things settle back down, things will be very, very different.
Yeah. So your governor, he's garnished a lot of attention right now. Do you have any, for his response, do you have any personal thoughts or feelings about him?
Well, I mean, I think it's a really interesting time to be an elected official who has to go toe-to-toe with the Trump administration.
Yeah.
I think as a New Yorker, what's really annoying is the fact that Cuomo and de Blasio haven't figured out how to just set aside their differences and be on the same damn page. Mm-hmm. Because they were fighting over whether or not there'd be a stay-at-home order, and there's this kind of bizarre thing where, I mean, really the governor of New York has way more power in many ways than the mayor when it comes to disasters. It's a governor who can shut down the subway system, for example.
Right.
It's not something that the mayor gets to do. But what I have really appreciated about Cuomo is, and on a side note, I've not been very happy with him as a governor up until this point, because he has been really good at creating political fractions and preventing there to be really good progress made through the legislature. Mm-hmm. And so before the 2018 election, just the way he... Yeah, so anyway, I'll putting that aside, what I've really liked about his press conferences has been being really clear, simple, and honest.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah. And I think in many ways, his tactics with interacting with Trump is something that I wish a lot of the media and other politicians would have been doing much earlier.
Right. It seems like he is sticking to the facts, keeping it very simple. Here's what we need. Here's what we're going to do. And I think that sort of tactic it seems like it's been moderately effective, at least. That's my take on it.
Yeah. So Trump, one of the unfortunate genius things about him is that it's just nothing sticks, because he's always going on to the next thing, and he's always saying something outrageous.
Yeah.
But he allows it because everyone is just reacting and so upset with whatever he says. But was it last week? What's time now?
Yeah. What day is it? We don't know.
He said something about Cuomo and like New York, and I mean, Cuomo was just like, he'll have no fight with me.
Yeah.
Like,
he just diffuses it. He diffuses it right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of engaging and back and forth is just not helpful right now. So is there anything that you've been finding personally helpful, just as a coping mechanisms?
Going for walks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I never, yeah. So every day I go for multiple walks. I avoid the news.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, I mean, there's definitely, like, I get my doses, but I've learned to put my phone away.
That's a good call.
Which I feel like is a good habit regardless,
yeah.
Even after, like, we get through all this. But, yeah, just not paying attention. Because at the end of the day, we only have control of our immediate surroundings.
Yeah.
So, I'll volunteer in my local neighborhood. I mostly just am in my local neighborhood. I haven't been on the New York subway in probably like a month and a half, 2 months.
Is the subway still running? Is the subway still going?
So they have been running the subway primarily for first responders and for, all of the essential workers who are in grocery stores and providing certain types of social services.
Okay.
I know that I think it was yesterday or the day before, there was a controversial decision where they're going the New York subway system is no longer running 24/7,
mm-hmm.
which it has always run 24/7 for over, I think it's the past 115 years, with the exception of when the subway shuts down for disasters like Hurricane Sandy.
Mm-hmm.
The reason being is it seems like there is a growing there are more and more people who are homeless who are in subway cars,
mm-hmm.
and it's becoming a problem with making sure that when first responders and others get on the subway, that they have enough space to be there. And it also, with people living in the subways, it prevents them from being completely wiped out and sanitized. So they're now actually closed for, I think it's from 1 to 5 a.m. But that's also really heartbreaking because it's not solving the problem that a whole bunch of people don't have housing.
Right. So there's a lot of parallels, obviously, between San Francisco and New York. But here, the homeless population, they managed to pass a lot of legislation really quickly to get people in hotels. So there used to be camps all over the city, like in my neighborhood, too. There were a lot of camps that I would see, and now they're completely gone. And a lot of people have been able to be put up in hotels, which it's sad that it took a pandemic for us to figure that out. But that I was proud of the way that San Francisco kind of responded to that crisis, and you just hope that elsewhere they'll be able to find some kind of funding to get people off of the street, and hopefully long-term solutions as well. But yeah, that was one thing that I commended the city for doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I was really glad to hear that happened. But a big question is, what's next? Like, how do you move those people from the motel rooms into housing that is affordable and that they can somehow contribute towards? I feel like this whole pandemic has just exposed the major issues that already exist. I mean, I was on the call actually with your sister earlier today, and it was absolutely heartbreaking to hear that in Flagstaff, a lot of the physicians are working with people from Navajo country, and it's just absolutely devastating their communities.
It is,
and you know, the history behind there of those people's language, food, and land being taken away from them, and as a result, I mean, just the food that the American government forced upon them, among other conditions, has led to so many health problems that they have. And as we know with COVID, if you have diabetes, if you have these other pre-existing conditions, you're likely not going to fare well. And there was apparently a family last week where it was the only one to survive was the 18-year-old. Everyone else died. And I remember actually I saw a video that Warren and AOC were, they were interviewing each other last week. And they're making the same point that, like, when you think of, you know, it's like when I get frustrated when Trump is like, all the meat factories should stay open. And it's like, you still haven't addressed, like, the core reason why all their workers got sick is because they were not providing the masks. They were not providing them an ability to work where they're 6 feet from each other. You were not providing them sick pay.
Right, or safe working conditions. Yeah, and it's highlighting all the cracks in the system. You're only as healthy as your sickest members of society and your most vulnerable members of society. And people have been saying this for a long time, and unfortunately we were just not prepared for a pandemic of this scale. But my hope is that we can move forward after this, really addressing some of our systemic issues.
Yeah. You know what's so frustrating is I was listening to this podcast, and I didn't finish it, and it was on my roommate's device, so I don't remember. You know what? It was I'm blanking on her name, the really famous NPR host. Anyway.
Terry Gross?
Yeah, Terry Gross was interviewing this author who's written all of these novels about pandemics. Mm-hmm. And he was making the argument that actually the American government has been preparing for a pandemic like this since the 1918 influenza. Huh. It's just that Trump, and you can see this, you can see between the lines, has refused consistently to do all of the basic things that you're supposed to do.
Right.
And one of these would have been to start in January identifying the supply streams from different companies, and through executive order saying, you guys, these companies over here, you're going to work with these companies over there, and you're going to produce the masks that we're going to need. And we're going to start coordinating all the research efforts across the United States to be able to help with expanding testing and trying to find a vaccine. And those two basic things, I mean, they still haven't really done those two things. And it's crazy because the experts are like, you guys could have put this in motion like months ago.
Right. Also, a little foresight would have been wise, and also not firing the pandemic response team might have been a good move.
I remember when that happens, and I remember thinking, that's so stupid. Like, in the big scheme of things, like, that working group, that group doesn't cost the White House that much money, but if something goes wrong, the whole economy can shut down.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So really quick, I preface this by saying you would maybe tell us a little bit about your new position. The rumor mill has it that you have a new job, but I also was so intrigued by your old job, so I wonder if you could just quickly chat about your old job and then your transition to your new job.
Yeah, so I feel very lucky. It's kind of bizarre, to be getting a new job and all of this. So for the past 6 years, I've been working on criminal justice projects at the state level on project's called Justice Reinvestment. It's funded through a private-public partnership where Congress gives the U.S. Department of Justice some funds, and then the Pew Charitable Trust Foundation tosses in some additional funds. And states have been able to raise their hand and say, hey, like, we want to work together on solving something. I worked in Alabama where the prisons were overcrowded, and that's what they wanted to focus on. I worked in Oregon where they said, the intersection of criminal justice and behavioral health is really what we want to focus on at the local level, counties, and tribal nations. So it's been really fascinating to get to work in different states for about a year. Each state is like its own little nation, and to work with local officials who are truly passionate and smart and logical. I just wrapped up a project in Vermont, and with all the COVID stuff happening, it gave me some faith in humanity to see the local politicians just working across party lines and doing everything that they can to try to support their fellow Vermonters.
Yeah. Awesome.
So through my work, I have been on 2 projects now that have focused more heavily on housing. And it got me really interested in just how housing cuts across so many different systems. And when you think in particular about the most vulnerable members of our society, you think of the elderly, you think of people with disabilities, with mental illness, with addictions, who, if they're not given the appropriate supports and services, they end up actually costing all of us more money because they end up in the emergency rooms and they end up in some cases in our jails. And so supportive housing is an evidence-based practice that's shown to be able to help stabilize those people, provide them wraparound services, and actually save long-term various systems money. So I, through this work, my paths crossed several times with the Corporation for Supportive Housing, which is a national organization that's been pushing forward supportive housing as a policy at the national level. And I interviewed with them. I applied for it in January and got really lucky. And so I'm going to be part of their metro team that serves New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. It sounds like most of my work will focus predominantly on New Jersey, where they're trying to develop a more robust statewide coalition for supportive housing. Big changes all around.
Yeah,
New York, the world, and in my personal life with my job.
Well, congratulations on the new job, and thank you for all your awesome insight and hard work. And I'm going to let you go because I know you're a super busy woman. But thank you so much for chatting today, and I wish you guys all the best in New York. We're thinking about you in solidarity here in the Bay Area. Hang in there. We will do the same, and hopefully when this is all over, we can come see you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jen.
All right.
Sending you and your family lots of love. Stay safe and well.
You too. Goodbye, dear.
Bye-bye.
So that was Cassandra coming in hot from New York City. Thank you for tuning in, and stay tuned for more QuaranTEA with Jen, because they just extended our shelter-in-place order through the end of May. So another month. Here we go. All right. Cheers. Be well.